All right, let's do it. I'm sure that other people will join the call. But let's get started. Welcome everybody back to Brokerz Edge Live, your weekly Wednesday night destination where you can gain valuable insight and ask questions to our CEO and founder, Jason Bouch. Jason has 20 plus years of experience in the industry, and he is ready tonight to answer your questions. We got a great topic to talk about. Jason, how's it going?
How we doing, guys? Hope everybody's having a beautiful Wednesday. Came packing with some wins. I mean, I know we as a company have a very special win today. There he's grinning. Our very own Romeo. He started with us last week, and he popped his little cherry. We're so proud of him.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah, well, and really this is a testament to what happens here when you really pay attention to what's going on. You're aligned and fully engaged, and he asked the right questions. He really wanted to be a part of something bigger. We're building a $1 billion company here, and he wants to be a part of that, which means that he's going to make an assload of money doing it. Because I can't build that company if I don't have people that are completely 100% bought in and aligned and understand exactly what we're doing and what's expected of them. So, Romeo, my hat's off to you, brother. Thank you very much. We love having you.
Hey, it's a pleasure.
Can I ask you something? All right, Connor doesn't know this yet. That little flag up there, what color is that?
Oh, shoot.
So we have a system, right? And in our system, we have different color lines that go across that dictate different things, right? There's a color code. And he called me up. He goes, all right, so full transparency. Is it okay if I tell him?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. He goes, I'm a little colorblind. He goes, what color is that? I'm like, dude, you used to be a driver. That's a problem, man. These are either red or green. What is the oh my God? So then I go back to the office. I was in my living room. I walked in my my house office and I looked. I'm like, dude, that was orange. Oh, come on, man. So
I did not know that story. That's funny.
Yeah, I just learned it today, and we were kind of holding on to that. I didn't hope I didn't embarrass you, bud.
No, you good.
No, he's having a blast, and we're really enjoying working with him and growing, and we're hoping to find other people just like him that want to join us and grow into the company and really blow up a business. Make sure that they're checking all the boxes and learning at a very high level, because that's what we expect. And it's a continuous process. He's not done. He's just going on to the next phase. So that moves us on to scheduling. You have to work with intention. You can't wake up in the morning and not know what the hell you're going to do that day. And, we've talked about this before. My schedule is very basic. I have very static things that I do every day, but I also leave space in there for problems that happen along the way as well. So, my schedule starts off 6 a.m., wake up, 6:30, drink coffee, check emails, and it outlines all the way through there. And then after about 8 o'clock, I'm supposed to do cardio. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on what happens. And and then from there I leave a block. Usually between 8 and 10. I'm leaving something wide open there so I can do check calls, deal with problems, figure out what happened the night before. As we're getting bigger, then what I'm doing is checking in with agents. We have a morning meeting that we're doing. We've blocked off 30 minutes at 8 o'clock Central Time. And in that time, we're going to be going over role playing and what's going to happen today, priorities, what do we need to do, checking on people. Do you have any questions? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Just touching all the boxes, making sure that everybody's doing what they need to do and that they have access to answers, stuff that's happening so that they can hit their day and be productive. Usually by 10 o'clock, I've already eaten once and I'm getting ready to eat again at 11. So, I'm planning what's going to happen next so that I can get into that particular part of my day. And then, depending on the day, I'll end up having meetings or things throughout the day, but I'm doing calls and I'm meeting with different people to help build the businesses, whether that be personal education on my end or educating somebody else. Connor's still, he's going back and forth. He's juggling a lot of things going on. He's got hats and all kinds of shit he wears. So, these guys are keeping me busy, and we're only going to get busier. So,
I was going to say too. You hit it real quick. The biggest thing for me with juggling white space and filling it is like matching up things that are able to be matched up, like lunch and training videos. You know, like if you are subscribed to some sort of training, or you're just going out and finding free training online, lunch and when you're eating is a great time to, you know, get on there and go through that stuff.
Well, that was my next point. Compressing time is huge. So if you're driving, there's this beautiful thing called Audible. You don't have to listen to Spotify or iTunes or any of that shit. You don't have, I mean, if you're listening to a podcast, I would recommend it be something that you're going to learn from, you know, and find a way to improve your vocabulary by learning from somebody that knows more than you. John Maxwell says it's the law of the lids, right? So you're only growing to this point. You're never going to get anybody involved in your business or in your environment, really, that can be above that level, right? So you're always trying to grow. You need to take in more information, expand your bandwidth and stretch that rubber band. You want to be able to stretch and flex and learn and grow, and it'll hurt, you know, but if you get really good at this, I mean, like, I don't go out to lunch with anybody that isn't a customer or a client or a trucking company or somebody that I'm going to have an actual interaction with. Now, that doesn't mean they're sitting there right in front of me. I mean, during COVID, I was on the phone with all kinds of people just bullshitting with them because we're building that relationship still, even if I have one, you know. I'm hoping, I don't know if Giselle's on the call yet. She's one of our newer students, but I've known Giselle for years. And, you know, she comes from a transportation background that, you know, we've built a lot of, we've done a lot of loads together, really. And, you know, we're really glad to have her aboard, and we're really looking forward to working with her in a different capacity. But, you know, I'd be talking to her and we'd just be bullshitting about our families and stuff, because that's what you do. You want to ingratiate yourself in these people's lives and understand where they're coming from. What's their perspective? Why are they doing the things they do? What's the motivating factor? It's not just a trucking company. They're people too, you know, and these people are going to help you do your business. Right now, the relationships that anybody has with a trucking company is far superior to the relationship they have with a customer in a lot of ways, because you don't have a customer if you don't have carriers. You need everybody to play nice and work together. So I know I recently just wrote a big contract with a large company that wears a lot of brown uniforms. And it was because we have the relationships with the trucks that they were willing to even work with our brokerage. They don't take brokerages on anymore. They have a company policy, no more. But because we had the asset side and then we also had certain relationships, they agreed to move forward with us. And that's going to be a multi-million-dollar account for us. I mean, that's our goal is $10 million this year. Locking that in will likely exceed that goal. So that means I got to stretch our goal now. You know, I got to look at it objectively and go, okay, now that we're going to do this, what can we do? What's realistic? We're going to take our largest month. We're going to compare it to the other averages, and then we're going to build a budget. And then we're going to say, okay, this is the new waterline. This is what we're going to do. We need to make this money. And that's the only way we're going to grow as a company. I went way off on this. It really does come down to white space and what you're trying to do. You know, you want to make sure that you're compressing the time so that you're maximizing your efforts. You don't know when something's going to go wrong. So it's like, you know, if you're working at a store, there's always time to clean. They always say that. There's always time to clean. There's always somebody to sweep the back room or whatever, the menial shit that nobody wants to do. But it needs to get done. You know, so you're organizing, you're going through receipts, you're going through invoices, whatever, cleaning up bill of ladings, chasing down PODs or something, you know, whatever you need to do, but make that time count. Don't just sit there and, you know, look around on the internet and call that work. You know, I mean, data mining for a customer is great as long as it's intentional. And Connor, we were talking last night, and we're going to come up with something. I really think that that's a product that we should probably come out with for the students is how to correctly data mine. You know, what is the systematic process behind that? And I know Romeo and I talked about it as well, you know, leaning into that so that there's a structure behind that. So it's systematic and intentional and everybody gets it and we're all, you know, winning, you know, that's what this is about, making the most of the time that we have with the people that we're coming in contact with. So,
yeah, I think that too, one of the things that happens to me that and it might not happen to everybody, but it could just be the ADHD or whatever kicking in.
That's fun, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. One of the biggest things that I find myself, like Jason said, with me juggling a lot of hats in the companies is set in the morning, like set one or two things that aren't on your schedule but could potentially fit in somewhere. And then if
Mhm.
the time does come, go after those. You have a plan to go after it, so you're going to be way more intentional with what you're doing. And two, if you have a list of 15 things and you're trying to like go through each one and try to find, you know, like do a little bit here, there. For me, I'm like, I start something and I stop. It's so much more efficient if you can pick one or two things and get it out in a day. And then the next day, you know, find two other things that are important, put those into the thread of your, you know, if you have white space, fill it in. Because it gets, once you start getting all these different things put in there, it becomes a nightmare.
You know, the truth is a lot of people like to overcomplicate it and come up with fancy books and all this other bullshit. Mine's a Word document. I put the times next to it, and things change. So, you know, you can break up the times any which way you want. And then I write down the actions next to it, and I leave certain things blank. You know, that's the time that things fit in, and you know, I put other things in. So that's the cleaning time, you know. Oh, I got an extra minute. Okay, I'm going to jump on some sales training. I'm going to, you know, I'm doing something. So I'm listening to a John Maxwell book in the background while I'm doing clerical work or whatever. You know, I'm increasing my productivity and my profitability by doing this. Because now I'm available when something happens, or if a customer calls me and says, hey, I need this done and I need your full attention on it. Yeah, no problem. Gotcha. Because I've accomplished all this other shit and got it out of the way. So, you know, Connor, you kind of touched on it a little bit too, where, you know, the ADHD thing helps. But like on my schedule, what I'll see, I'll have all the times, and then below it, what I'll have is different action items. And as the day goes on, I print this thing out and I just write in extra ones as it comes up. Oh yeah, I got to do this. Oh yeah, I got to do that. So at the end of the day, what I've done is I've checked out all the stuff I've done, scratched off things I've accomplished, added new things to the list, but I've also prioritized it. So the stuff at the top of the list is of the utmost importance and needs to be addressed immediately. Stuff at the bottom of the list will eventually move to the top if it's lucky. Otherwise, it probably just needs to be scratched off the list because it's worthless shit.
Yeah. I love it. I love that idea. Actually, I might start doing that.
Yeah, I'll text you. I'll send. We can send out the Word doc. It's a nothing thing, dude.
I was gonna say, send me a blank Word doc.
Yeah, I'll send you a white piece of paper. You'll love it. Yeah, but it's just got the times on it, and I move it around as needed. You know, I don't go to the gym every day. You know, I go 3 times a week, and sometimes lately Mondays and Tuesdays have been alternating. So I have to move it around on my schedule. But the other thing I do is I mirror it with my Google Calendar. So this thing has alarms on it. And it's just, I don't know if you can see this, it's just a bunch of bars and stuff. And it just, you know, tells me different things that are going on in my day, you know, but I have reminders. Okay, you need to eat here, here, and here because I'm on a meal plan, you know? So if that's not important to you, then don't do that. But set appointments and then have reminders for these appointments because you will forget. I mean, I still get caught. I have an email address that something goes to and it doesn't get to my calendar correctly. And Connor's calling me on last Friday going, hey, you're late for your meeting, dude. I'll stall, get your ass over here, man. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm at a chiropractor. Hold on. You know, but accidents happen, but you try to prevent all that stuff because if you're really compressing time and you're really busy, you're going to look busy. You know, I mean, there's a difference between people that look busy and are just fumbling around and we're walking around like George Costanza. He was famous for having he'd walk with a pen and a clipboard and look busy. He didn't do anything at work. And that was the joke. He worked for the Yankees in Seinfeld. He didn't do anything. He just wandered around, looked busy. You know, people know that. You know, you can tell the people that are really productive and the people that are faking it. And so, you know, this is how we do it. I mean, this is how I do it to make it as productive as possible. And I compress as much time into the day. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger says you only need to sleep 6 hours a day. And if that's not enough, sleep faster. You know, there is something to that. If you're taking care of yourself, you really don't need that much.
Yeah. I think too, though, there's, for the people that are out there that are just struggling to make a financial jump in, you know, their yearly income.
Right.
This has a huge part of that because you can start implementing things that are going to make you more money, like calling new customers or
what you're going to see is actually you're not as busy as you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to finally organize your day and go, holy shit, I've got 6 hours I cannot account for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what did I do? It's not so much as what did you do, is how do I fix it now? You know, don't get amnesia. Don't worry about what you did wrong. What are you going to do right about it? Move forward in this. Don't worry about what's happened in the past. The past is past and it's behind us. Plan for the future and live in the moment. Make sure that you're doing things intentionally to plan for the future and to lay a path that's going to be worth walking down. If you're starting out, I kind of wish I could start out again. It was fun. It was like there was so much to learn. It was like, I still learn a lot every day, but it was so much. It was just a different level of learning. I'm kind of envious of Connor.
I was just say you're living vicariously through me.
This guy's a sponge, man.
Uh-huh.
Romeo came to me. He already kind of had an idea what was going on and stuff. I filled in some of the blanks for him, but he's oops, my lighting just shifted on me. There we go. Yeah, but he it's still the same thing. He's hit the ground running, and he's gonna be learning. I can tell. I know him. I can see him. But and that's really the biggest part of it, is being teachable. Being willing to learn and being receptive to the information and being humble enough to know that you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I've got mentors. I spend a lot of money every year to come in contact with people that are a lot smarter than I am, to learn from them. And I can guarantee you the what the $600 we charge for the interim course is nothing compared to what I spend to be close to Brandon Dawson or Grant Cardone or John Maxwell or any of these guys. Really, Jesus. Here's another check.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's more money.
I wanted to. There was something else.
Did you say we got a question from somebody?
Yes. Mark is actually on the call. Mark, welcome, buddy. It is good to have you here. But I do have your question written down for Jason. I don't know if you want to unmute yourself and ask, or
actually, we kind of have a little rule here, Mark. You got to have your camera on, bro. If I'm going to talk to you, I want to see who I'm talking to.
Oh, man, sorry, I'm not ready for that. Just get up from the gym, so you don't want to see me. You'll see me next time. Just a quick question, though, Jason, man.
I work out with Johnny Jackson. You think I know what people look like at the gym? Come on.
No, you did, man. Hey, you were on that veteran professional podcast. That was great. That was
a lot of fun. Mark was a lot of fun to work with. I'm really glad you heard about us. Thank you.
Yeah, that's.
What did you think of the interview?
Oh, it was great. It was great. Well presented, and
I do okay.
Yep, you did well. You did well.
Good.
Hey, quick question for you. It's about how much capital required when you started?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Capital. Capital. Let's talk about capital. Let's see when you started. When you started.
All right. Well, let's do a brief synopsis of how I started. I came from Chicago, working in a air freight company. We're going to run through this. You're going to get the Reader's Digest version of 10 years. Okay, here we go.
That's fine.
Started Chicago at air freight, came down to Dallas to be with my now wife. She had a friend who owned a trucking company, wanted to develop a brokerage. I built that brokerage from 1 million to 4 million. They went out of business. I took that business that was existing and went to another company. That business did great, and then fell apart. And then I went to another company and I lost everything. So I had to start over. And so I was an agent at that time, and I did that agency deal for about 8 years until I could tell I wore out my welcome. And then it was time for me to move on, to which I had accepted a position at a new company, which was an existing brokerage. They were at about 9 million when I was there, when I took the presidency position there, and I built that company up to a $22 million company before I left. So these were existing entities, and my situation is very unique because I already had a customer following, and because we dissolved the company, I knew what I was going to need to come to the party with. And so cash flow is everything in a brokerage. Your question's good, but what I would recommend you not doing is spending your own money. I would recommend a company that somebody that's starting a company and getting off the ground would start off with a factoring company. This is a real cheap way for you to get money, but then also to verify customers, because they have processes and things that are going to protect you from yourself. Really, you don't know what you don't know, and we're here to help you get the rest of the way. And that's what they do too. They get you that little chunk where you need to have customer verification. They'll run the Dun & Bradstreet. They'll check credit viability, and you don't have the ability to do that. You don't have the systems in place right away to do that kind of thing. You can, but for 1 or 2 customers, it's not going to be cost effective for you to do that. So with a company starting out, we use match factors. I think, a company starting out, they would probably give you like 2.5. well, fuck, now the inflation's doing what it's doing, who knows? But I mean, maybe 3% of the gross. So the way that works is if you make $1 million, you're paying them 3% of that $1 million. That's on top of everything. They take it right off the top. And then everything after that you net is what you keep. So that's really, if you look at it, 2% comes out to about 22%, I believe. If I can't remember how the math worked out, but it comes out to about 22% if it was a commission off of the net. There's kind of like a weird sliding scale that goes on. But if you look at it that way, that's kind of how it breaks out. So it's like having an extra salesperson involved. Okay. And for anybody that wants a contact over there, I'd be happy to set you guys up. I mean, Eric's a great guy. He's done really well for us. He's helped us in a lot of ways. And the other benefit to working with a factoring company is that they'll vouch for you because you have no credit history. The first 6 months of a company is the hardest 6 months a company will ever experience.
Yep.
I mean, you may have problems, but nothing like the first 6 months you're opening your doors. It's like a trucking company. And, Romeo used to be a driver, so he can vouch for this. He, that first, nobody wants to work with you, 6 months, nobody wants to touch you. You're radioactive. You've got to find a way to survive and show a credit history. So that also benefits you by working with this third party for that period of time, at least. And, it gets you through that tough time. Does that make sense, Mark?
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I mean, it's not a final solution. I mean, obviously that's not an optimal way of doing things. I mean, we paid we did 4.5 million on our first year, just with a few customers that we had that we brought over, and we paid them 50 grand for that year. So it's basically like paying for an employee, if you think of it that way.
Okay.
My problem is that, when I sat down with my partner and said, look, this is what we did. He goes, I don't like that. I said, yeah, wait till we make 10 million. Watch this.
Okay, was that
employees now.
Was that decision beneficial though? I mean, was the money was spent?
100% in the beginning.
Good.
It's not a forever decision. You don't want to live like that for the rest of your life. You want to actually maintain control. But, that first 6 months I said is hard, but really the first year is what you're gauged on. That's when you break open. That's when people start really being okay and much more flexible with you. And, you're just more credit viable. It's like being a ghost and trying to buy a car. When I say, I'm sorry, I used a car term. It's like having no credit history and trying to go buy a car. They call that being a ghost. It's just like you're like a dead person. You're like, who's going to buy a car? Who's going to sell a person a car that has no credit? Well, who wants to, do a load for somebody that doesn't have any payment history? The other way that you end up doing that then is paying with com checks. A lot of times they'll pay half up front and then half on the back end, or God help you if you have to put on credit cards, man. You'll go like broke quick. But people do it. I mean, there's a lot of ways to start off. This is the most financially sound way, in my opinion, only because it structures you in a way that you can survive. It's not the end of the world, and you can terminate the contract when you decide that you're done with that. You just sever deal. It is an all or nothing deal. They're not going to take some accounts and not others. They expect you to funnel everything through there. So that is something that you have to take into consideration. There may be some companies out there that will allow you to do some here and some there. Just, I imagine it depends on the relationship, but typically that's not the case. They're very, very bossy when it comes to that. They like to have their contracts pretty rock solid.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I got to ask, what did we work on today? Was it legs, shoulders, back? What did we do?
It's a lot of cardio.
Cardio.
Yeah. I love running. Yeah, today was cardio day.
I don't think I had a cardio day. Romeo, do you have a cardio day?
Always.
You guys, you guys are army guys, right? So
No, none of us. None of us
barely a high
here.
school graduate.
Chris said he was getting on the call, but I don't know if
yeah, Chris was in the Army.
Oh, okay. Chris is there, okay.
Yeah, this guy tried to be in the Navy, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Connor, did you ever try?
That was the color blindness.
No.
Yeah, that's how that came up.
Yeah, that's how I found out.
Yeah, actually, I think they told me I talked to one recruiter and he said because of my asthma and some other stuff that he was like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah,
They didn't like my asthma, and I walked in with a leather jacket. It was the 90s. I mean, whatever. And he swore I was a drug dealer. I'm like, I'm not a drug dealer. What are you talking? I was offended. Hey,
That's funny. Mark, though, thank you for your service. Appreciate
yes,
that.
thank you very much.
Anytime. It's my pleasure.
I don't think you want to go back, do you?
No, it's done.
When's it-
Now,
when's
I'm
it not?
happy. I'm happy it's done. You know, but I'm happy though.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something that I needed to.
What are you doing for work these days?
Believe it or not, I own like a data mining company.
Oh, okay, cool.
Own a data mining pool.
Mhm.
Interesting. What?
Yeah.
How long have you had that?
Since 2016.
Really nice.
Mhm.
I just talked to the guy that we work with, Joel. He was supposed to take my call earlier, and he didn't take my call. So maybe I'm looking for a new data guy. I don't know.
Hey man, hey, we've been partner, man.
Brokerz Edge Live, where you make deals happen.
Perfect time to pitch.
Perfect timing, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we've got your contact information, right?
Yes, you
I
do.
got
All
it.
right, yeah, we'll probably want to reach out to you just to kind of give a comparison, see what see how you stack up to the other guy that we've been working with.
Sure, no, definitely can add some value.
Cool.
We can have a chat and
Yeah.
see what can add some value to you guys.
Cool. All right, good deal.
How about Bruce and Brittany or Tanika too? Tanika's new. That's
New
good to have
person,
you.
yeah, two new people, right?
No. Oh yeah, Mark. Yes, two
Yeah.
new. We had another guy hop in and out. I'm not sure if he was
Yeah.
new.
All right.
Bruce, Brittany, anybody else got any questions? Let's get it going here. We got plenty of time. That was a short topic today, but it's important. Very important.
Well, I mean, we condensed time. That was the
Yeah.
point to it.
Yeah. Perfect.
Taniko just wants to listen and learn. Okay.
I'm thinking, what is another topic? We got another half an hour. What's something else that we can talk about that you and I have seen?
Well, all right. The importance of role playing.
Hmm.
And I don't mean I mean sales. Let's just be clear. I mean sales. It's really important that you test things out on each other in a company rather than on your customers or prospects. I mean, Mark would love it if you burned out all his data and stuff and you had to go back and get more, but that's really not a great way to operate a company. And, it's been my experience that customers get amnesia. So you call one day and you flop and then, give it a day or two and you call back and they're like, they don't remember, they get so many phone calls. It's not a big deal, but, you really don't want to go through life like that. I mean, that's not a great productive use of your time. So, find something that you can role play with. Know your dialogue. I don't want to say script because that's not appropriate. We don't do scripts at Brokerz Edge or at 360 really. We have a framework that we use. It's really more of topics because you don't know what the customer is going to chime in on, right? You don't know what topic you're going to hit that's going to ring the bell for these people. So you want to just know where you're going in the direction in which you're trying to take the customer, and you're taking them on a journey. You want them to understand that you're an advocate. You're there to help. So one of the things we love about one of the guys that we work with, he's a sales trainer for us, and one of my favorite things is he'll say, look, this is what I am, this is what I do, the blah blah blah. If this isn't a good fit for you, I'll hang up on myself. Now, who doesn't take that call? I mean, that's ridiculous. But the point to that is making the ridiculous. You're minimizing the issue. I wasn't expecting your call. I would expect you to expect my call. You didn't know I was calling. You're not prepared for this, but that's okay. It's going to be all right. So I think it's really important that you have a sense of humor when it comes to some of this stuff too. And the other reason why we don't want to do scripts is because my word track, Connor's word track, Mark's word track, Tanika's word track, Romeo's word track, you get the clue, you get the point. Everything's different. We all enunciate words differently. We have words that are tongue twisters for each other. What I might say one way, Connor will mess it all up, or Romeo says something, I'll go to repeat it, and I'm like, I don't have the same swagger he does about it, so then I don't come off the same way. He's real cool and calm. I come off sarcastic. I just do. I mean, like that's a problem that I had to figure out how to avoid when I was first in sales. The way I overcame that was I created a character, so it was almost kind of ridiculous, and it was expected. Being from Chicago, it was like, hey, how you doing? I just fall into that kind of that word track, and so then it was okay because then people kind of knew where I was going with things, and it wasn't sounding like I was just an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But to hear Connor do it, I mean, he's totally smooth. I don't do it the way he does it. We just all have our own styles, and I think it's important to develop your own style. That's what makes everything unique. That's also what allows one person to use a list and go, I'm not getting anywhere with this. Here, you try it. So, where Connor might find success in one area, Romeo might be struggling, and all of a sudden they flip-flop, and Romeo's having all kinds of success, and Connor's over there going, all right, it's cool, whatever. Good, take him, man. I'll go get these other guys. So, just being open to the idea that you don't have everything available. Shit. I'm sorry, guys. We have really bad weather in Texas, and I'm having to do this from my home office. We usually do this in my office with better lighting stuff. I'm having to do this with my my monitors in front of me, and they keep timing out on me. Hey, my buddy Bruce is there.
He's here.
Yeah.
Hey,
how's everything at the cold storage tonight?
Oh man, it's cold.
Is it
It's
cold?
cold
Yeah, I was gonna
outside.
say, is it
Yeah,
cold?
It's
That's
cold outside. Yeah, very cold out here. The weather's not getting any better.
I forget what area are you in?
I'm in Columbus, Ohio right now, man.
Oh yeah, you got it coming at you. We're dealing
it's
with it right
coming.
now down in Dallas, man. It's a mess. They've already shut everything down for the next 48 hours. Again.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like,
With nothing there yet.
well, no, it was a little icy earlier. It's like a glazed donut outside. It's like everything's like glossy.
Yeah,
shiny.
actually, it's funny you said that because I saw that on the weather today. It came up and it said we were going to get a glaze of ice. I'm like, never heard that term before when it comes to weather, but they used it.
Yeah, up in Chicago, they've got the same thing. I was talking to my sister before the call, and she was saying something about her pet pig is outside struggling because he can't break through the ice, and he's standing on the ice and going to the bathroom, and it's a mess.
Oh
I
god.
mean, pig. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, with
feed him barbecue and baste him from the inside out.
yeah,
I got something for you, buddy.
I was gonna say because I think it's just because I watched the movie last night, but I think that
Yes.
a huge part of sales is active listening, and I don't think I really understood that until I watched that movie last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the movie he's referring to is Hitch. And
yes,
it's an older movie from the early 2000s. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. It's got Will Smith in it, and I don't remember who the woman is. She's
I
hot.
can't remember her name. Yeah, I can't remember
Smoke
her name.
show. But it's the engagement. It's a romantic comedy, but it's really good if you dissect it and look at it from a sales vantage point. It's a great dance between people trying to figure out how to negotiate and sell to each other.
Mhm.
Oh.
So, and then Connor with his red card.
Why do you have it now?
It's just it's always
He's
hot. It's
got it.
it's always ready to
I knew
go.
he'd have it. Well, he'd never not have it. Right? That's just what he does.
I'll give you this, Romeo, for that
You can't
response.
see it. You can't see it. It's red.
Yeah. That one's yellow. That one's yellow. Another comment like that, you'll get it red.
It's a soccer thing, everybody.
Yeah.
I had to learn it. I don't know. I'm a football guy, so I don't know soccer. But when Connor explained it to me, it made a lot of sense. It was cute.
It's catchy. It was catchy.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, with word tracks and everything, I think it's important to practice and make sure that you're building up the muscle memory. So when you come up with an objection, you know how to handle it right away. It's not like you sit there and pause, look at, and then come back with something.
Mhm.
You're boom, 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 but not rushing it. Make it fluid, make it a conversation. Those are the best ones when it's a conversation. You're just talking through things, and like you would anybody. Like you're deciding dinner with a spouse or something, What do you want for dinner? I don't know. Great. I don't know either. Closed. What do you want for dinner?
Mm-hmm.
That's a joke at my house.
Well,
I think it's every house.
Jason,
Yeah.
what Jason, like in regards to people developing, their style and and really perfecting how they go about doing sales. When you mentioned, role playing with someone that to practice, getting good at that conversational exchange. I mean, that takes for you to do that takes feedback from people. So,
right.
There's
a correct way to actually do role play.
Right.
You almost kind of you create a scenario, right? But then you pause. You're like, I mean, I did this with somebody. They're like, pause. I'm like, pause. They're like, no, just pause for a second. Try it this way. Now go back and do it. Because you're just tuning things as you're going. You're fixing the conversation. So imagine like you're editing a film or something, and then you just like pause. This sucks. Back it up. Fix this. Now it's good. Does that kind of like that? Yeah. So I mean, we're going to start doing this. We were talking about doing it this morning, but we had some problems we had to conquer. And but tomorrow morning is going to be a lot more open for us. So I've already talked to Connor about that. And, we're going to be ready for when Eric meets with us on Tuesday also, that we're going to have some role playing done. Because I want everybody to be really calm with that, But, it comes down to situations. I'm too busy. I don't have time. No.
Not interested. Yeah.
No, not interested. Same thing.
Right.
Okay, why would you be interested? I haven't told you anything yet. Like, I wouldn't be interested either. But after you say that, where do you go next? All right. So I've stopped the customer. I've made him think. I've said something funny, stupid, and then what? What happens next? That's where you pick up the ball and run with it again. Through these conversations, really all you're doing is looking for permission to talk. Right? You're just buying yourself the next 15 seconds. You're just kind of inching the conversation forward the whole time. And you're doing this through permissions. Connor mentioned active listening. A lot of that is asking great questions. Who, what, when, where, how, why. I grilled somebody today about why. I'm like, we talked about intention statements, and this guy, he just sat there, talked. I'm like, Bill, enough. What's the why? He's like, what do you mean? Why? Why are you doing this? Well, I don't know what you mean. I'm like, dude, you're doing all these different things in life, but you can't tell me why you're doing it. What are you motivated towards? What are you doing? Right? When we're in these conversations with a customer, our why is because we firmly believe they need our service. We're doing them a disservice by not working with us. We shouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that we are so good at what we do that they need us and we are not getting through to them. What are we doing wrong? It's our fault if they don't buy. It's not their fault. It's not the gatekeeper's fault because they didn't give you the phone number. They're just doing their job, And we'll work on that too. How to get through the gatekeeper. Why? What things can you do? That was the whole point of that follow-up thing, was to make sure that you guys had activities systematic that were not annoying to people. Just calling up every day going, hey, my name is Jason. I'm with 360 Freight Solutions. Click. By day 5, they're going to know my rhetoric and recognize my voice because I keep saying the same stupid shit, right? It's just the same repetitive motion. So if you're changing it up and doing some different things, they're not going to remember you. And that was the point of what I said earlier when I said they get so many calls, they're not going to remember you because you're doing different things. I probably should have elaborated on that. You're doing different things, so it's allowing you to have a different effect on the recipient. And, that's why we offered it for free. I mean, I think we offered it for free. Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, and if anybody has it,
doing it for free.
Yeah, if anybody's got it, if anybody doesn't
have it, put your email.
Throw your email in the chat, and I will get it over to you. I believe Bruce and Brittany, I believe I sent it to you guys last week. I believe you guys put your email.
If he didn't, give him a red card.
Yeah, just send me back a red.
In case, and Romeo, that's green for you.
Romeo, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you, bro.
No, it was just really just the process of going through, the role playing,
right.
Just the system of it, having just like when you see a play, right? When you go see a play or watch any movie, all of that is broken up into parts. And,
sure.
Pretty much like you said, we get this part right here, then we move on to the next scene. Just trying to wrap my head around the process.
Yeah, great analogy. No, that's exactly it. You can't have the end of the story up front. I mean, that doesn't mean a customer won't ask for a close. I mean, sometimes they'll rush it to a close, but I would advise against it. Because what'll end up happening is as you're closing, now all of a sudden objections start coming up. So you've kind of put the cart in front of the horse, even if you haven't given your full presentation. Like, fuck it, I'll take it. Yeah, let's talk about this the rest of the way. I mean, if they're willing to close themselves, that's great, but they can't start with a close. Okay, you have to give some type of presentation. If anytime you've bought a car, they should have walked you around the car, right? They probably opened up the driver's side door. They showed you some instruments and they walked you around. They had the hood up, showed you the car. This is the crash zones. Every car has one. They don't make them special for you, but they have crash zones in them. And then they walk around again. They show you the passenger side, show you the trunk. Look how spacious this is. We can put 45 bodies into this thing, close the trunk, walk them around, put them in the driver's seat and let them absorb. Well, the whole point of that is to give them the full exposure to the car, right? And that's what you're doing with these sales. You're giving them the full exposure to what your company does. What's special about you? Why do they need you? Why are you unique? What do you bring to the party that nobody else does? How are you better than 360 Freight Solutions? You need to know those answers because, at some point we're all going to come on, bump into each other, and that's fine. The pie is huge. I don't care. I hope I lose business to you guys, really. I mean, that means I'm so big, I can't pay attention to everything. And then I got to yell at somebody. I'll be yelling at Connor and Romeo. Like, what the hell did you guys do, man? You let Tanika steal our business, man, right? Without even looking, man. What did we do here? Mark's over there. He's like, yeah, haha, look what I did. I'd throw Bruce in there, but I think Bruce is going to work for us. Maybe Brittany, too. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, Jason, quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
So what do you know now wish you knew then when you first started?
What do I know now that I wish I would have when I started? Mark, that's a hard question to answer because I started at different times.
Yeah, it's requires some thinking. I know.
So which time do you want me to review?
Save it for the next call.
No. We can do this. I just, I want to make sure I'm answering your question correctly and thoroughly. So it just,
let me make it easy for you. When you started, right? You're making all kind of mistakes because you really don't know everything, right?
Right.
So you go on in every direction, right? But as you grow and you went through, you build companies, you know how that goes. You make a few mistakes and you learn.
Yeah.
So after that, was experience and looking back, it's like, I always looking back and say, oh wow, that was dumb. This is what I could have done better.
I think what it came down to is I had to figure out systems.
Okay.
Much like Connor, I have ADD, so I'm a very footsy. I had to put my pen down. I kept messing with it, and then I'm sitting there doing this with my hands and shit. I'm all over the place, man. Well, he's throwing gang signs.
No, I got rings that's like spin and fidget.
Oh yeah, that's spinning ring.
That's what I use.
Yeah. So for me, I had to slow down and figure out the process of things and the sequential order in which things needed to happen. And once I got that, I was able to lock that in. Then it became like instinctual. That's how I went through the list of things. And then I had to be okay with the idea that it was going to deviate from the plan. And then what do we do?
That's key. That's
well, but I think the most important question you need to ask yourself is, why did it change? What happened? What went wrong? And how do we prevent it in the future? Mm-hmm. You should be asking that question with anything you do in life.
Uh-huh.
Not that, it sucks to be mad at something went wrong, but okay, what happened? How do we prevent it? First you move on. He was like, okay, fuck it, let's fix it. But what do we do next? And then how do we prevent it from ever happening again? So we write a procedure that puts us in a position where we're never going to have to deal with this again. Or we can recognize the pattern that's coming at us, right? We know that this person's going to do this because historically that's how this company's behaved, and this is likely what they'll do. And so we either avoid them altogether with a load, or we watch them like a hawk because we're desperate to work with somebody that, and they're the only person that's available for us. And sometimes you got those guys, man. I mean, there's trucks. Connor will tell you. I mean, we've got their throats in our hands, and we're like, okay, make sure you do your job. Drag them all the way through the weekend. Just make sure that they do everything they're supposed to do. And it pains you to have to do that, but that's the job. I never worried about the money, and I still don't today. I think I just said that to Romeo earlier. We were talking about something, and I just said, I don't care about the money. The point is that the money will come if the customers are happy. If they're satisfied, they'll pay. Everybody's happy when the job gets done and it's been done at a high level and everybody's gotten what they wanted. They'll pay for the next time. I mean, I've got customers that'll just write an empty blank check. I joke that they're like drunken sailors. They're just like, yeah, just here, take it. I don't care. You know, and that happens, you know, and sometimes things change and they decide that they want to do that anymore. And that's okay too. You know, the point is to always find somebody new. You're constantly building. Don't rest on one customer, 2 customers, 5 customers. Constantly be searching for that next guy, because people are going to fall off, right? I mean, it happens with our friends. It happens with everything. You know, you have to make room to get something. So if you're trying to get more customers, that means that some other customer that sucks is going to fall off the list. Or maybe you need to get rid of a customer that sucks to make room for, you know, to make time to go get another customer that's even better. That's the other side of the coin. We've had that in the past. I think I've talked about it. I had one customer, I did $300,000 in revenue with them, but the problem was I only did $3,000 worth of profit with them. That is a bitch of a customer, man. I mean, I worked my ass off, and when I saw that, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm done." When it came bid time, I said, "I'm excusing myself from this bid process. You have too many people involved anyway." You know, and that's something that a customer will do a lot of times, is have so many people involved in a process that they're literally fighting over pennies, and it makes no sense, because really what they've done, it's a very rookie move. But sorry, guys, I need to touch the mouse every once in a while, so it just doesn't do that. It's a real rookie move, but every customer eventually does it in the beginning, or they get somebody new in there that thinks they're going to outsmart the system. And what they do is they start auctioning. And what I mean by that is that they talk to, instead of having just a core group of people that they work with, they work with everybody. So instead of having 5, they'll bring 20, and everybody's bidding on this exact same thing. Unfortunately, what that does is you end up entering into, you know, you'll go on like online and stuff, you go into data or truck stop, and you start putting these loads in there, and you're looking for trucks to do the same thing. Well, so are the 19 other people doing the exact same stuff. Now what happens is the carriers see this stuff and they go, holy shit, look at all these loads. This must be a hot lane. I can raise my rate. You know, it's simple supply and demand. The problem is there's only one load, and there might be 10 trucks, but there's, you know, 20 guys bidding on this thing. So they're like, free for all. You know, it starts driving the rate up. And now the customers don't ever understand why this is happening. They're not satisfied because they've created their own enemy. They've created this monster of a problem that they can't survive. It will cannibalize what they're trying to do. So it doesn't afford anybody a benefit by doing this, but all customers do it in the beginning. Unless you can convince them that they need you so much that they never bother to look. And that is really the goal there. If you can do that, if you can ingratiate yourself into their system, you can be their best friend and advocate and never give them a reason to look outside the window, you'll survive a lot longer. It will still happen, but you'll have a lot longer lifespan with the customer. It's been my experience, and it varies, but typically a lifespan is between 5 and 8 years with a customer. And I know that I've got one I'm coming up to the expenditure with, and you can see it on, you can see the revenue dropping. They're not doing what they were doing 3 years ago. That's just a sign. They're changing the way they're doing things, and I gotta adapt. And I'm not writing them off, but I gotta adapt. I gotta find somebody to backfill that revenue. Hopefully, somebody that's gonna, you know, have higher profit margins. I mean, we've got some customers that'll spend as much as 20% of the profit on a load, and you know, you love that guy. Good luck finding them, but I mean, they're like unicorns, you know.
They're there.
They're there, but you gotta look really hard to find them. So, I just think that you know, really, it's about building consistency, and you know, I think that's kind of the culmination of all this, is really having consistency and intention in what we're doing, right? With the scheduling, with the role play, with you know, increasing your productivity and condensing time. If you continuously try to do this stuff, you will get better, you will succeed, and you'll have a lot more money today than you did yesterday. Man, that's just the way it goes. So I see we got Benjamin here. Is Benjamin new? I mean, new to us?
I don't know. I think he's been in here before.
Okay.
All that stuff you said about the load board and how the carrier sees
Oh,
those
yeah,
multiple up, you won't learn that in the book.
No, but you know what? You've seen that as a driver, right? As a truck owner, you've seen that shit. And you're like, this is gold, man. It's raining loads. Cool. And then you start calling people and you find out it's the same load.
What? That load?
Yeah.
What?
Now, here's the cool thing. I had a customer do this exact same thing to me yesterday. And my buddy who does these loads for me, he goes, Jason, did you know so-and-so has this posted? And so does this guy, and so does this guy, and so does this guy. I said, oh, cool, they're auctioning. Good. Now that explains everything. So I turned around and I called a personal friend of mine at that company and said, hey, you guys are making this mistake. She goes, what? She's a buyer, so she can't really affect transportation. But I was like, yeah, you know, you guys are really creating a vortex for yourself. You're working in a vacuum. This isn't good. And they're team 360 all the way up until we get to this particular group of people. And they've got, you know, just a new group in there, and it happens all the time, you know. But you know, when you have that relationship with a carrier that tells you this problem's there, you know, it shines a light on what's really happening, you know. So it's kind of like having like a little spy running around helping you, you know. It's about networking, about relationships. It's always going to come down to relationships. But do we have any other questions tonight?
Yeah, I didn't even realize the time. That felt like going pretty quick, actually.
It did. Yeah. I looked
Alright.
up and I'm like, oh, 8:53. Well, yeah. I'm looking at the
Cool.
time server.
Cool. Well, if nobody has any other questions, let me see. I don't know. Let's see if nobody, or if you guys haven't joined the Facebook group yet. I know we got some new faces in here. Let me throw that in the chat real quick. This is our Facebook group. This is where we post the things like the call, you know, different information, anything really that we're going to share is going to be in the Facebook group. So
You're very welcome, Bruce.
Feel free to join in, Bruce. No problem.
We love
Appreciate
having you
being
guys here. I mean, this is what we do. You know, we're here for you guys. We want to build a relationship with you, build a community of people that want to learn, grow, and build businesses, you know?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yep. We had YS just joined in. YS, we unfortunately are about to close out here, but it's good to see you. Make sure you get in here
We have a
next week.
time zone issue there.
Yeah. Make sure we get in here next week. Call 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Central time.
5 o'clock.
No
Pacific.
worries. 5 o'clock Pacific. Yes.
6 o'clock Mountain.
So
did we? I mean, we got the Facebook. We've got, you know, this will be posted on YouTube.
Yep.
Parts will be on Instagram. I mean, we got it all over the place here.
Yep. Yeah. And you can find all that information in the Facebook group too. Like I normally will link everything to, you know, so you can go see it.
Oh, and then also current students, check this out. We burned the boats last night. We made a commitment to Lightspeed that we're going to be migrating the course over to that platform. It's just a far superior platform. So anybody that actually currently has the course or any of the coursework that we're doing, we will migrate you for free. It's a wash.
Mhm.
If for some reason it should expire at the end of this month, the 28th, which is I think Monday. If you're having problems, I know they were doing system work earlier today, so don't think we're glitching out on you or anything like that. But we will be migrating everybody over to Lightspeed, and I guarantee you're gonna love that experience. It's badass.
Yeah, it's cool.
Kind of
There's a
showed me
lot.
the finished product. I was like, holy shit, look at that. This thing's awesome.
Cool.
So it's just gonna be a much more robust platform for us to offer you better courses work and much more in-depth stuff. I mean, Kajabi just can't handle the weight of the next course. We started at 73, and I think we'll be lucky to get out from under 80 now. We keep adding to it. I'm like, maybe we should break this up. I don't know. We're still wrestling with it, but it's growing out of control. So we needed to have something that was much more capable and manageable. So Lightspeed was the easy candidate for us.
Mhm.
So I hope you guys like it. And if you have any questions, of course, reach out to us. And, you know, we want to hear back. We want feedback too. You know, if you see something that's wrong or something that doesn't look right, Connor can't type for whatever reason.
Just throw me under the bus.
Yeah, just you're throwing him under his own bus. I mean, it's like,
yeah, it's true.
I got thrown under my own bus. I'm having Christmas.
That's a good shirt. I'll wear it.
Throw me under my own bus. We'll figure it out.
For those of you that are new, I'm building a school bus into a tiny home and traveling the country while working. So
Tiny, it's a bus. I mean,
yeah, it's a 40-foot bus. It's not really. It's really the
Yeah.
biggest option you can possibly get. But yeah.
It does have a great new addition though.
It does. It does.
He's gonna have a hot tub in it.
Jason got me a bus warming gift.
Yeah, I got a bus warming gift.
Yeah. But all right, guys. With that, we're gonna get out of here. Everybody have a good night. Thank you again for those of you that have come back and those of you that have joined us tonight for the first time. We appreciate you guys coming back every week. So with that, have a good night, guys, and we will see you next Wednesday night.
You've been great. Thank
See
you.
you guys.